Let's go! The LSU Tigers are back practicing, and of course, we're kicking off with the legendary Corey Raymond. Pretty crazy to see him back with the Tigers in the flesh, and we're going to go through just a few basic things, obviously, from this first practice. Blake Baker, of course, working with Whit Weeks. Let me know if you guys believe Whit Weeks will be the best inside linebacker for LSU. It could be Harold Perkins in his new spot. This is obviously Wes Weeks, the brother, alongside Blake Baker. I'm really excited about this linebacker grouping. Christian Brathwaite, of course, getting some work in, and you know, they say offense sells tickets. It also sells clicks. Guess what? We're actually starting things off with the defensive side of the football. And this actually isn't Blake Baker. I believe this is actually Jake Olsen. Now that I get a better look. Major Burns right here. Looks like he's working in with the linebackers. Bob Diaco right here. This is an actual safety right here. Ryan Yates about to get ready to get a rep in right here. So got to love that. And, of course, down to the very basics of tackling. Got to love it. And now we get to Bo Davis, right? Always fun to see new faces at LSU. This is Jackson Howard going through the drills. They obviously redshirted him last year, was more of a special teamer, but you know, now he's got his opportunity right here to show up and show out. There's Harold Perkins right there with the some extra elbow protection. Gotta love it. And this right here is Kalaj Cobbins wearing number 48. Good stuff. Who remembers Derry Beckwith also wore that number 48 jersey. Obviously, they play different positions. And this is Braden Swinson. Obviously, I think if we did a vote who the best Jack linebacker was for LSU last year, it was him. And he's going to have some stiff competition at that Jack linebacker position. Here's Whit Weeks working with Coach Bo Davis, and here, of course, is Greg Penn working with Bo Davis. Boom! I'm looking at you. I got to make sure you're awake. It's spring football. This is via Zach Nagy. This is the first team LSU defense in the pursuit drill. So I'm going to run through these players right here. You got Javian Toviano as the near side corner. The far side corner, I believe, is Ashton Stamps. And you got this kind of interesting three safety look. This is actually Jordan Gilbert right here, Sage Ryan right here, and Major Burns. It's kind of hard to know who is the designated nickel or who is the other safety. Nevertheless, that's just how they are aligned for this play. And one minor small difference here is the Jack linebacker has his hand in the dirt. So this is obviously Braden Swinson. Last year, he mostly played in a 2-point stance. This is a 3-point stance. You also have Jalen Lee, Jacobian Guillory, and this right here is Savion Jones. Then your two inside linebackers here, Greg Penn and Harold Perkins. And obviously the player defensively that'll probably get discussed the most is Harold Perkins and him moving back to the interior linebacker position. How is this going to work out? We don't really know at this point, but I'm pretty excited to see. All right, and now we get to the second team defense, and this is where things get very interesting, okay? So you have Jeremiah Hughes, obviously the second-year 3-star out of Las Vegas. Your free safety here is Jordan Allen. This is Ryan Yates right here, one of the safety and or nickels. And I believe this is P.J. Woodland and J.K. Johnson all the way over here. And then up front, we then get to the front here, and I believe this is Kimo Makanele, the offensive lineman who went to the defensive line. And the other DT, I believe, is number 95, Taiji Hill. It's a little pixelated right there. And your two linebackers here, Whit Weeks and Wes Weeks, the near side defensive end. That looks to be Paris Shand, and then that is Deshaun Womack, the far side end. So there you go. Once again, new terminology. It does look a little bit different with how those safeties are aligned, but this is just a simple, pursuit drill. Pretty much every team does this. Alrighty, and let's get to the third team, and this is the first time we have seen Jair Brown, the transfer coming in from Ohio State. This looks to be Austin Osbury. Joel Rogers right here at this back safety. I believe this is Deshaun McBride, and it's really impossible for me to see who this other corner is all the way over here. We then take a look at the linebackers. This is Christian Brathwaite and number 42, Devon Keys, the new linebacker coming in from Texas. So you see a lot of true freshmen, early enrollees with this second group, okay? Is that Devon Keys? Yeah, I believe so. And then it's if the jersey numbers are correct. And then we get up here. This is Dylan Carpenter. At one end, the opposite end here is Jackson Howard. Let's see, is that 96 Preston Hickey? That's a walk-on. And this right here is Demarion Johnson from Westgate, another true freshman. So lots of true freshmen mixed in there. Maybe some of these jersey numbers are wrong, but once again, this is the first practice. I know I've probably butchered a few names. I know that wasn't that was Sean Washington a minute ago. It's spring for me too. Alrighty, so now let's get into some of the LSU offense. So the first team offensive line, I think a lot of you figured this would be the line. This is Will Campbell at left tackle, obviously at left guard Garrett Dellinger. DJ Chester will start off as the center, Miles Frazier at right guard, and then at right tackle Emory Jones, and then of course Mason Taylor at tight end. So we take a look at the wide receivers. Chris Hilton coming off that great bowl performance. Aaron Anderson in the slot right here. Kyron Lacey. And then, of course, you have Josh Williams and Garrett Nussmeier. So really no shock when it comes to these starting positions. But, of course, that wide receiver battle is going to be pretty testy. And other than wide receiver, there really is just no shock at all that this is your first unit offensively. And more than likely, this is what your starting unit is going to look like for the opener versus USC. So obviously Garrett Nussmeier throwing this football here to Kyron Lacey. One minor note from practice, this looks to be Brian Kelly right here. Brian Kelly actually spent most of his day on the defensive side of the football, and that's really no surprise to anyone knowing that the defensive side of the football has a bunch of new coaches. So we're actually going to do a little bit of trivia just to see how long you've been watching PHL. Once again, I'm not a coach. These are just my best educated guesses. I wish I was a coach with LSU in particular. But what I want you to do is take a look at this play call and tell me what play is this. Now, if you've been watching PHL for a while, you know what AJ Swann is doing right here, okay? So we're going to give you 4 different options, and go on ahead, give it your best guess. And while you give it your best guess, there are plenty of ways you can support PHL. You can go to our website, powerhourlsu.com/shop, and get some merch. You can also hit that Super Thanks button in the bottom right corner of your screen, okay? So if you guessed C, which is Hoss Juke, you are correct. And then, of course, this is a brand new offensive coordinator, but it's really not a brand new offensive coordinator. Joe Sloan running a play that Mike Denbrock also ran quite a bit. Hoss Juke, of course, your slot receivers are running goes. Your outside receivers are running hitches. A lot of times your outside receivers on Hoss Juke is a tight end and a running back in a 5-wide set. And the Juke route right here is being run by Kyle Parker. And that's where this ball is going to, okay? So, there you go. If you guess Hoss Juke, hey, you know ball. I like it. Trust me, I am not the best when it comes to play calls and play names, but Hoss Juke, that is what Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski won Super Bowls with. Now, let's get into the actual breakdown of this unit, okay? So it's pretty clear that this is AJ Swann, okay? Looking a little bit like Miles Brennan in that number 15 uniform, okay? This is obviously Caleb Jackson. Caleb Jackson. And then, of course, here at the bottom of the screen, this is Xavion Thomas wearing the number 11 uniform that Brian Thomas Jr. once wore. Obviously, Kyle Parker, who just caught the ball. And this actually is CJ Daniels all the way over here, the big man coming in from Liberty, okay? So Obviously, LSU running a lot here with this second team unit, and this second team offensive line is actually a pretty interesting cast of characters as Caleb Jackson takes this carry. So at tight end, you have Mac Markway. Okay, at right tackle, you have Bo Bordelon. That's a guy that I'm cheering for, obviously an LSU legacy. This guy loves LSU, and people in the building really do love him. So I'm cheering for his success, a 3-star. And this is where it gets really sexy, okay? Number 73, this is big Ethan Callaway, the 6'8" mammoth coming in from North Carolina. Number 78 is Cohen Eccles, a very late addition to the class of 2024, and he is playing center. The one thing I really liked about Cohen Eccles' tape in high school is he played all the positions on the offensive line, right? You saw him play some guard. You also saw him play some tackle. He has got some big-time athleticism. So I'm very interested to see what he can do. Your left tackle, number 71, is Tyree Adams. And let me make sure I get number 65 correct here. That is Paul Mabanga. There you go. The second year 3-star player out of Buford, okay? This was a nice little rollout to the left side to get Caleb Jackson the ball right here in space. Obviously on a similar play versus Ole Miss. I love this play design, by the way, where you fake it's not really a fake to the handoff right here, play action fake. It's just a little way to get your running back out into the flats. Caleb Jackson actually dropped this play versus Ole Miss last year. And, you know, if he develops into a really good pass catcher, he might end up being one of the more complete backs we've ever seen at LSU. So very interesting stuff to see Caleb get some passing work. And look, once again, this is just practice. It's against air. But a very intriguing second group of offensive players. And then obviously the player that will generate the most buzz as far as pushing for a starting role will be Daniels out here to the left. The last time LSU had a player who transferred in with the last name of Daniels, it worked out pretty well, if you ask me. I think you guys might know who that is, who I'm referencing. Not deep trivia whatsoever. You get a play action fake right here, and yeah, you can throw this football to Mac Markway, and this obviously 2-minute drill continues. And, you know, once again, you're throwing against air. It is what it is. But it is interesting. You know, normally when transfers come in, transfers normally have to work their way up the ladder, right? You see it here with Xavier Thomas and CJ Daniels. I think both of them will eventually be starters with Kyron Lacey, and obviously Chris Hilton's going to have a lot to say about that. But it is just a minor note here that AJ Swann, who, you know, just got here, is getting the second team reps here over Rickie Collins, number 10, who right now is working with the third team. And I don't think Rickie's just going to go down without a fight, though. I think Rickie can come back and win this quarterback job, and or at least win the backup quarterback job. And one thing that Rickie can give you that AJ Swann doesn't really have is that dual threat ability, right? Swann can run some, but that's not really his game. Rickie, of course, has a little bit more explosion. And here we go. Let's talk some Rickie Collins. Okay, so this is Malachi Lane. Right here, lots of backups here. This is Kari Lee, a true freshman, who I find very intriguing as well. You do have a few walk-on offensive linemen mixed in here as well. Let's see if we can get their names really quickly. 76 is Christian Stamp. 75 is Braden Augustus. And number 77 is friend of the show, Joe Cryer. Just did an interview with Joe not too long ago. Malachi Lane right here. I don't believe they have a right tackle in. So this obviously Rickie Collins rolling out to the right side, throwing this ball out here to Kai Prean. There he is, number 82, a year 2 player from St. James, a 4-star recruit. You have Kamarion Pimpton out here as well. Obviously, I had a really good grade on Pimpton coming out of high school. I'm interested to see what he's going to do this next year. Actually, we do have a right tackle here. It is number 52, Kobe Roberts. There you go. And here we go. Look at that. Look at that throw. Love it, Rickie, to Kamarion Pimpton. Good stuff. And then right here at the end, this is a player who, Brian Kelly talked about in the press conference. And if you're watching this on a premiere, I know right now, if you're watching this on a premiere, you're dropping a pretty nice super chat. We are doing a live stream tonight as well. I dropped my pen. I'm not smooth at all. But here he is, Shelton Sampson. And Javen Nichols, number 19, was working in at that other wide receiver position. It's going to be tough sledding for Shelton Sampson, right, with Daniels coming in and so on. There's Colin Hurley right there. Let me know what you guys think of these practice breakdowns. Is there anything you want me to dive a little bit deeper into? Obviously, we started things off with those individual defensive drills. Those can get pretty monotonous. I understand. But this is what spring football is. It's just a lot of this. Brian Kelly, obviously, in his press conference, nothing really too newsworthy in his press conference. We'll go over a few things in the live stream. But, for me, I feel this LSU team is in desperate need of some reinforcements, right? Offensively, I think this unit's going to be pretty good. But defensively, there's a lot of guys that we're getting in with those first and second units that haven't played a whole lot. And also, when they've played, they haven't necessarily been all that great. And that was kind of interesting right there in this drill. Rickie Collins took these second reps. But, this backup quarterback battle between Swann and Collins is going to be very, very, very fascinating. And then, of course, personally, a quarterback that we're rooting for, former PHL guest, Colin Hurley. I can't freaking wait to see Colin Hurley even in the spring game because, man, he is a lot of fun to watch throw the football. And there's Colin coming in with that number 16 uniform. How about that, man? All right, let's do a little trivia. Who was the last starting quarterback at LSU to wear number 16? Give me your answer in the comment section below. He is a fan favorite here on PHL. So there's some other fun videos floating in your face. Bang, our interview with Joe Cryer, and another one here. I think you guys would love it, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! And tonight, we're doing lemon pepper chicken wings, baby. Let's go! All right, okay, I see you, Shelton. There you go.